Hi, I'm Bill, the Knee Pain Guru, and I wanted to share this video today because, gosh, where to start? This is all about marketing and marketing intelligently and learning how to begin to get momentum in your business, begin to get it moving forward. And about a year and a half ago, I began starting to essentially take ownership of what was going on in my business. I had this idea as a marketer. I would go to events. Everybody would have like the series of 4 emails to send to my list, or the strategy for whatever it was to grow my business. And I had this idea. It was like a shotgun approach. It's like, well, let's throw it against the wall and see what sticks. And what ended up happening is I would have little instances of success in my business. Yeah, I'd send out those series of 4 emails, and I would get a spike in traffic. And I could show somebody, hey, this was good. Or I learned a new technique in my business as far as copywriting or whatever it was, a headline on a sales page or something like that. And like I said, there was no connection between the result that I got and what I did to implement that. And it wasn't until I started actually measuring what was happening and understanding the psychology of my market to begin to get a grasp on my business and where it was going and what it was doing. What did I want to share with them? I help people with chronic knee pain, and it's a very niche market. It's a very specific market. And I was like I said, throwing the stuff against the wall and seeing what would stick, and I wouldn't measure anything. And then I started looking into how to track my numbers, how to use Google Analytics, how to use a program called Hotjar to track what is referred to as a heat map, clicking on how people would move down a web page. So if I put that headline on there, would that increase people scrolling down my web page? And what I found out was I wanted to do what my customers wanted, because in the end result, they would produce more sales. I knew this is what they would like. This is what they would resonate with. Early on, I was driving Google AdWords traffic, and we were getting all sorts of people to click through and go and take a look at the website, but there was no I was wasting money because there was no tracking of what the market wanted. And when I started doing that, when I started tracking that, I got some cool statistics. And this actually happened this year. I was tracking when a purchase was made, the time of day it was made, and when that person opted in to my list, so I would get an idea how long the sales cycle was, and realize I had 2 distinctly different types of customers that were coming to my website. One that was like in pain, want a relief right now, that purchased within 0 to 3 days. So I had a pretty fast turnaround on that. And then I had another type of customer that the sales cycle would take about 30 to 60 days. And with understanding that, I was able to determine that my conversion rate was at about a 0.7% conversion rate, which isn't all that great in terms of sales pages for a specific product that I was selling. And then I had insight as to beginning to change the order form page. Like they were getting through to, they were clicking through from my sales page to the order form page, and then I'd lose them on the order form page, and started changing how the order form page looked, and depending on the numbers, because they can get a little fuzzy, but I went from a 0.7% conversion rate on that same sales page to a 1.5% conversion rate on that sales page. And depending on what numbers it is, it could be as high as even 2.5%, 2.5% on the sales page. So it's one of these things that when you begin measuring, begin understanding how to track where the bottleneck is in the system and begin to own that process, figuring out from conversations with customers, why customers are they're giving returns, all of that process, things that I can actually measure. My business started transforming. So now I have a predictable, I know that if I drive 100 people, qualified traffic, to my sales page, I'm going to be making between 1.5 and 2.5 sales approximately in that time frame, which is a measurable amount of return. And I could reverse engineer it and look at traffic that I was paying as far as Google. What would it cost per click to drive the traffic to that website? And now I have a tangible amount that I would be making on the back end of this. And what I really want to emphasize is that there's a lot of people out there that have these sales techniques. And to really being successful in business, and this is what I'm learning, and this is a process that I'm going through. I'm learning every day by the numbers that I'm getting, that the more I measure it, it's not what I think, it's not what is an emotionally based decision, it's based on the numbers. And the numbers don't lie because your market is giving you the information, and it's learning how to interpret those numbers and work with those numbers in a way that helps you systematically grow your business by testing a new thing every time, something different. So that's what I wanted to share today. The gentleman that I've been working with, his name is Craig Jacobson. He's absolutely phenomenal. And he has really helped me to begin to see my business in a different way that allows me to measure everything through the numbers, through analytics, through the results that I'm getting as a result of tracking that whole process, my customer moving through the funnel. And it's one of those things that it's not a flash in a pan. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that my business can systematically grow on into the future because I've established this criteria from which everything else is going to be based on and pushed off of. So thank you, Craig. Thank you, numbers. Thank you, my market, because that really helps me see and understand how I can position everything else around my business, around this this solid foundation to push forward.